Welcome to the Teninet Indigenous Wisdom Research Center. I am your host, author Teninet Setegn. In this broadcast series, we explore the profound mysteries within our research. Ethiopian esoteric philosophy and alchemy. Our journey into channeling hidden wisdom begins now.
I want you to imagine, just for a second, that you're holding a blueprint of the universe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right. But I'm not talking about a scientific map that traces out, stars and galaxies and all that. It's not that kind of map.
Right. Yeah, not like a NASA chart or something.
Exactly. Imagine holding a philosophical schematic, a literal map of how creation itself actually flows. And that is exactly what we are unpacking in this deep dive today.
It's an incredibly dense topic, but so fascinating.
It really is. We're going to be exploring the indigenous philosophical framework of an author named Teninet Setegn. This all originates from the Teninet Research Center in Addis Ababa.
Yeah, specifically, we're pulling from audio excerpts of a project called Teninet Research Part 3.
Which is just a massive, mind-bending concept to tackle. I mean, mapping existence itself. But, don't worry. We are going to break this down step by step. So if you're listening, it's going to be completely accessible. No overwhelm, I promise.
Absolutely. I mean, when we look at these frameworks, especially ones rooted in African cosmological traditions from Addis Ababa, we're not just looking at, abstract thought experiments.
Right.
These are living worldviews. They're built to answer the biggest questions you can possibly ask. Where do we come from? How does reality actually operate? And, what is the point of all this physical matter?
Right. And Teninet Setegn actually provides this highly structured, geometric answer to that. But I guess if we're going to understand the map, we kind of have to learn the geography first, right?
Exactly. You have to know the zones before you can understand how anything moves through them.
So let's jump into that, the four realms.
Yeah. So the foundational concept here is that reality is divided into four very distinct realms. One is for the divine, completely on its own, and the other three are for creation, for creatures.
Let's start at the very top, the absolute peak of that hierarchy. The source material calls this the hidden heavens.
Right, the hidden heavens. This is the realm of the divine, and its main feature is that it is completely inaccessible. It is totally hidden and unknown to any created being.
Like completely off limits?
Yeah, it's the pure, unmanifested source just existing in absolute seclusion.
When I try to picture that, I sort of imagine this massive, high-security bank vault, subterranean, 6-foot-thick steel door. Like, nobody gets in except the owner, and whatever is inside is totally closed off from the world.
That vault analogy is actually really good for understanding the exclusivity of it. But we do have to, strip away the idea of physical walls.
Oh, sure, yeah. Not a literal steel door.
Right, it's not hiding out of secrecy. It's hidden because its nature, this pure, infinite source, is just fundamentally incompatible with finite creatures.
Right, because if a finite thing enters infinity, it
would just cease to exist.
Yeah.
The hidden heavens are inaccessible because you literally cannot contain pure transcendence in any kind of form.
Which makes the second realm an absolute necessity. Because if creation can't survive inside the vault, it needs, a lobby.
A lobby, I like that.
Yeah, and the text just calls this second space the heavens.
Exactly. The heavens is the first real domain for created beings.
Mm-hmm.
It's where the infinite sort of translates into something finite for the first time.
Okay.
And the text is super explicit that this is where the 10 creatures first manifest.
Okay, wait, let me stop you right there. The 10 creatures, because we cannot just gloss over that. Are we talking about 10 literal animals with wings hanging out in a celestial lobby?
No, definitely not biological animals. You have to think about this cosmologically.
Okay, so it's symbolic.
Yeah, they are the foundational archetypes. Think of them as the 10 fundamental frequencies, like the very first energetic templates that all of reality is eventually patterned on.
Oh, wow. Okay, so they're only called creatures because they're create things.
Exactly. They function more like the architectural pillars of the universe.
So they are the seeds that the rest of the universe grows from. That makes a lot more sense. From there, from those 10 templates in the heavens, the framework says reality drops down into a third space, the hidden earthly realm.
Right.
And the source specifically associates this space with the number 3, which is interesting.
It's incredibly significant. And so many ancient philosophies, the number 3 is a bridge, mind, body, spirit, beginning, middle, end. Here, the hidden earthly realm is this untouchable, intangible world with zero physical mass.
So it's earthly, but it isn't solid at all.
Yeah, it's basically the spirit dimension. It operates as this transitional webbing between the pure concepts in the heavens and the heavy physical world below.
It's like the invisible scaffolding holding up the physical world.
That's a perfect way to describe it.
Which naturally brings us to the fourth realm, the earthly realm. This is the world of mass, gravity, the tangible reality that you and I are sitting in right now.
The absolute densest point of creation.
Okay, so we've got the map, the hidden heavens, the hidden earthly realm, and the earthly realm. But static layers don't really make a universe, right? If they just sit there like a layer cake, nothing actually happens.
Exactly. Existence is in motion.
Right. So how does anything actually move through this architecture?
This is where Teninet Seteng's philosophy shifts gears from just a static map into like a dynamic engine. The research introduces a very specific visual metaphor for this movement, the shape of a cross.
Okay, so if you're listening to this, I really want you to trace this out in your head. Imagine drawing a basic cross, just 4 points.
Right, and we map our 4 realms directly onto those 4 points. The absolute top point is the hidden heavens, that inaccessible source.
Okay, top point, got it.
Then you move to the right point of the cross. That's the heavens, where the 10 creatures manifest.
Then down to the bottom point, that's the hidden earthly realm, the spirit dimension.
And finally over to the left point. That is the earthly realm, our physical world.
So top right, bottom left. But the text doesn't just say, here's a ship. It insists on a very specific direction for how things flow between these points.
Yes, it's highly directional.
It says creation moves in an anti-clockwise direction, counterclockwise. And my immediate question is, why? What is the philosophical point of moving against the clock?
It's actually a huge distinction. Think about traditional frameworks, right?
Yeah.
Clockwise usually follows the sun. It's natural, effortless, just the normal progression of time.
Right. Clockwise is the path of least resistance.
Exactly. So anti-clockwise represents deliberate resistance. It means you are pushing against the natural tide. Creation in this framework is not just some passive overflowing of divine energy. It requires immense active force.
Oh, I see. To push pure energy into something dense and restrictive like matter.
Right. Moving anti-clockwise means it takes massive effort and friction to actually sustain physical reality.
Wow, it frames existence as this active, almost exhausting cosmic effort. So tracking that on our cross, we start at the top, the energy gets pushed out to the right to the heavens, then counterclockwise down to the bottom, the spirit realm.
Yes.
And then pushed even further out to the left point, the heavy earthly realm. The main theme here seems to be dispersion.
Dispersion is the exact right word for it.
Because with every step, you're getting further and further away from that top point. It's scattering, descending and solidifying.
The architects are migrating, taking on all this spiritual weight, and finally crystallizing into dense reality. It's a huge journey of fragmentation. But if you look at the geometry of what we just traced, there's a really glaring structural flaw.
Yeah, there is. Because if you go top right, bottom left, you just stop at the left point.
Right, it's an open circuit.
It's like drawing a 3/4 moon. So if creation just pulls up in the physical world and hits a dead end, how does the universe keep going? Do we just have to fight our way backwards to close the loop?
You would think so, right? You'd assume the burden is on the creatures to find their way home. But they don't. And this is honestly the biggest plot twist in the whole framework.
Okay, what happens?
To close the shape, the earthly creatures do not build a bridge back. The divine itself steps in.
Wait, how? We just said the divine is locked away in the hidden heavens.
It is locked away from the creatures. But in this final stage of dispersion, the divine moves directly from that top point straight across to the furthest left point.
Straight to the physical, earthly realm.
Yes. It completely bypasses the heavens and the spirit realm. The creator just manifests directly within the dense physical creation.
Okay, I have to push back on that.
Sure.
If the divine can just teleport from the top straight to the left, doesn't that make the right and bottom points completely useless? Like, why force creation through this exhausting anti-clockwise journey if you're just going to skip to the end anyway?
That's a really fair question, but it kind of misunderstands how manifestation works. Without that agonizing dispersion, there is no physical world to teleport to.
Oh, I get it. The slow counterclockwise push is what literally builds the physical world.
Exactly. It builds the stage. The divine can't reveal itself in the physical world until that world has actually been forged. Dispersion creates the vessel. Jumping from top to left is just the pure essence finally filling the completed vessel.
The architecture has to be built before the architect can walk inside. That's brilliant. The source says this is the creator's nature being revealed in the sun, within the physical world, right? Like observing itself from the inside.
Right. And mathematically, think about what drawing that direct line from top to left does to our shape.
It connects the beginning directly to the end. It turns the cross into a circle.
It perfectly closes the circuit. And the philosophical implications of that are just staggering.
Because it means the physical world isn't just a dumping ground.
Exactly. It's not some abandoned outpost at the edge of reality. It is the exact location where the divine makes its most intimate contact to close the loop.
That radically changes how you view physical suffering or limitation. The moment of maximum distance becomes the moment of profound reunion. The divine refuses to stay hidden.
It's beautiful. But now that the circuit is closed, the power is flowing, the outward journey is done, the vessel is full. So what happens next? Does the universe just spin in a circle forever?
I'm guessing no?
Definitely not. Closing the circle triggers an immediate reaction. It kicks off the second major cycle in the philosophy, the gathering.
The gathering. Okay, so the outward pushes over, and now it pulls back.
Exactly. The first movement was all about scattering and descending. This post-revelation movement is defined entirely by collection. Everything reverses and pulls backward toward the source.
Hearing you describe that this immense dispersion outward and then the inevitable gathering inward, it makes me think of breathing.
Oh, interesting. Like cosmic respiration.
Yeah. The anti-clockwise push that created the physical world was this huge universe-spanning exhalation. It pushed form outward. And the exact second the divine touches the physical realm and closes the circle, the universe starts its inhalation. It breathes back in.
I really like the rhythm of that metaphor, but we do have to be a little careful with it.
How so?
Well, an exhalation just sort of dissipates into nothing, right? The text is very specific about this phase. It says the earthly and hidden earthly realms are actively gathered up.
Okay.
So it's less of a passive breath and more like throwing an enormous net into the ocean. The dispersion was throwing the net out, letting it sink through the realms. The gathering is the slow, deliberate hauling of that net back onto the boat.
Oh, wow.
Because realms don't just dissolve, they're actively collected and harvested.
Harvested. That word implies that whatever was caught in the net actually has value. So if we look at our map now, what does the universe look like when this harvest is completely finished?
According to Setein's research, those two lower points are entirely pulled in. The physical world and the spirit world cease to exist as separate places. Eventually, only two realms remain permanently.
The top point and the right point.
Yes, the hidden heavens, which is eternal, and the heavens.
But wait, the heavens is where the 10 creatures first manifested, right? If everything gets pulled back up there, what happens to all the physical experiences? Do they just get erased?
No, they are fully integrated. That is why it's a harvest and not a destruction. When those 10 creatures return to the heavens, they aren't blank templates anymore.
They remember it.
They've absorbed the entire cosmic journey. They bring back every struggle, every form, every piece of identity forged during that long anti-clockwise migration. They return fundamentally enriched by the physical world.
That completely reframes the purpose of existence. The physical world is temporary, sure, but the experience you gain here is eternal. We weren't pushed out here as a punishment. It was a literal expedition to gather experience.
That is the ultimate thesis here. The dense reality we live in every day is just a temporary mechanism, a vital, pulsing stage designed for experience and revelation. It is not the permanent endpoint.
The scale of this indigenous philosophy is just breathtaking. To quickly recap the journey we just went on, we mapped out the 4 realms, starting with the inaccessible hidden heavens. We saw the 10 archetypes in the heavens. We moved through the spiritual transition zone and landed in our heavy earthly realm.
We traced that deliberate, anti-clockwise flow of creation, watching energy disperse outward with every step.
We explored that incredible twist where the cross becomes a perfect circle because the divine bypasses the middle realms to make direct contact with the physical world.
And we saw how that revelation triggers the great gathering, the harvesting of the net, pulling everything back up enriched, leaving only the pure divine and the fully realized creatures in the heavens.
It provides such a rigorous explanation for why things are the way they are. I want to leave you, the listener, with a final thought to mull over as we wrap up this deep dive. Think about your own life right now in this physical earthly realm. According to Teninet Setegn's framework, we are living at the ultimate point of dispersion. You are right at the absolute far left edge of that cosmic circle. the furthest possible point from the source.
At the edge.
How does it change your perspective on your daily struggles? The friction and the gravity of your life. Imagine that you aren't just stuck here randomly. Your experiences aren't meaningless friction. You are a vital mechanism for gathering experience. Your life is part of this grand, inevitable harvest back to the heavens.
It's an incredibly empowering way to view things.
Remember that blueprint we talked about at the very beginning? You are not just a random smudge of ink on the page. According to this map, you exist at the exact profound point where the circle closes, where the divine makes contact, and where the long journey home finally begins. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep exploring, keep questioning the maps you're handed, and never stop seeking out new perspectives. We will catch you next time.